After a 20-year hiatus, it's a great time to be a Bionic Commando fan. Last year, Capcom and Grin released Bionic Commando Rearmed, a great downloadable retelling of the original Bionic Commando title. Next month, Capcom and Grin are going to reteam to release a new Bionic Commando. Now this isn't a remake of the original title like Rearmed was. This is a completely new sequel to the original game. It takes place more than a decade after the events of the first Bionic Commando, and you play the role of Nathan "Rad" Spencer. Unfortunately, the world really has not been very kind to Spencer. He's been betrayed and imprisoned by the commanders that put him in the field, and he's really pissed off because of all of this. He's also been sentenced to death, so obviously he's got a few chips on his shoulder. Unfortunately, Spencer isn't the only one with bionic augmentations that's been having a hard time. The world has turned on people that have these bionic parts, and unfortunately, a terrorist attack by a group called BioRain in Ascension City causes Super Joe to bring Nathan back for one final tour of duty. Now obviously, the big star of the game is the bionic arm itself. It can be used for pretty fast moves. You can grab anything that's in the environment and zip around kind of like a bionic Tarzan, you can rappel down cliffs, or you can do some pretty incredible acrobatic maneuvers. You can also do really powerful smashes if you fall from a very tall height. Since Nathan's bionic, he doesn't really take any damage, but he can stun anybody that happens to be nearby. Obviously, that leads into the next thing that the bionic arm can be used for, which is combat. Now, you do have normal light punches, but you can also add a heavy punch with your bionic arm for some serious damage. You can grab guys and you can throw them into each other or just wing them off into the distance. And you can punch objects and use them as their own individual battering rams, let's say. It's a lot of fun to actually see a soldier get tumbled because he's just had a car land on top of him. Finally, you can also pull guys towards you and execute them by either slamming them into the ground or throwing them right into a group of their own friends. There are some pretty sweet little moves that you can do with the bionic arm, and once you experiment with them, you'll start to come up with completely new combos, which is a pretty cool idea. You also have an assortment of guns and firearms, but a lot of those are really meant for extreme cases, like when you're going up against a lot of mechs or some of the very strong soldiers of the BioRain army. Now, the ammo is scarce for these, so you really want to focus more on using your arm as much as you can, and saving your firepower for when you really need it. Another very cool thing about Bionic Commando is the challenges that have been included in this game. Now, these are different conditions that you'll have to meet during the game. For instance, when you pick up, say, the hiker shotgun, you might have to shoot a couple guys at the same time with one round, or you'll have to start shooting a couple guys while you're swinging. As you start to progress through, these challenges get more and more difficult, but there's a definite plus to doing these. As you fulfill these challenges, you'll get damage modifiers, ammo count increases, or even armor that will protect you from incoming fire. It's very useful, and you'll definitely want to see how many you can acquire over the course of an adventure. Overall, though, it's been a really long time since Nathan Spencer's had a new adventure, but it's really great to see him back, especially for all you old school fans that have gone through the original Bionic Commando on the Nintendo. For more on the game, swing over to IGN.com.